Throwback, we're having a look at the NECA Toys Halloween the Remake Michael Myers. Now, Spot would have to say that before we have a look at the figure, the one thing I'm missing from the figure base, actually two things I'm missing from this figure, I packed away somewhere, is the grass base, the base in fact that actually holds Michael Myers, and what actually holds the Myers Tombstone. The other thing I'm missing is a knife, which is not that big of a deal. Knife I can easily just replace with another one of the Michael Myers knives that I have. But unfortunately, I'll have to preface this review by saying I don't have the grass base. It's somewhere. I'm not sure where I've put it. But that's not to say that we can't have a look at some of the older figures that we had to look at on this channel. And especially with being Halloween, I wanted to touch base on some of these older Halloween figures. First things first, let's go ahead and take the Tombstone here, and we're just going to peg it into the bottom base. It's funny that also helps if I flip it the right way. It's funny that the top part here of Myers, this part of the Tombstone is rubber. You can see it is all rubbery here, but the bottom is plastic. I'm not sure why, or I mean it is plastic, but I'm wondering why this isn't just a solid plastic or a hollow plastic like this. It is two different mediums. The sculpt's pretty good though for it. A little bit of like rose sculpt down there, and we've got Myers written across the top. These are older figures, so much like the original Myers figure, they're going to be a little more scaled back to what we're getting nowadays from NECA. The reason I also Spot wanted to do these too is hopefully through some magic of the universe, NECA will eventually give us more Michael Myers figures. I can only hope. They've kind of a little bit of hinting here and there that might be the case, but let's hope that is true. The other thing that comes with Michael Myers, aside from the base, the grass base that it's not in this video, he also comes with the interchangeable head. Personally, as just my own opinion, I wasn't crazy about the remake. For some reason, I think I liked the sequel of the remake better than the original, and I don't know why I'm saying that, because it's so far-fetched, so out there, with the white horses and ghosts of his mother and stuff like that. But for some reason, I think by that point, I just said, okay, you know what? This isn't anything like John Carpenter's Halloween. Let's just go with it. Let's just accept it for what it is. It's nothing like the original. And maybe for that reason, I just kind of bought into it more. But it's still Rob Zombie's interpretation of Halloween. It's, again, not my favorite. I always go back to the originals. But in the remake, Michael Myers made masks. He had like a whole room full of masks. And this one, the one that comes with the figure, is kind of like that jack-o'-lantern style of mask. You can take the existing Michael's head, pop it off, very easy actually, and you can replace it with the jack-o'-lantern head. Now for me, you're taking one element out of it that I would have gravitated towards more by removing the Myers mask. And by giving us this just is not, it's not really my thing. It might be your thing, but it's okay. I like when NECA throws stuff in, like extra accessories, extra heads and stuff like that. I guess even if I'm not going to display Michael, I do appreciate that they would have given us this mask. But my cup of tea, definitely, I would remove this altogether. And I would just, I would always keep Michael displayed with the tried and true Halloween, the actual mask. Now, how does the figure stack up? Well, one of the problems is he's pre-posed, which, with one leg forward, it does make him a little harder to stand. Yes, to be fair, if you had the grass display base Spot, he would not fall over, but while I don't have that at the moment, he's a little more difficult to stand. Oh, he's actually doing it right now. He's probably not going to stand very long, though. When it comes to the sculpt, it's pretty decent. Of all the things I didn't like so much when it came to the remake, the one thing I did like was I liked the look of Michael Myers with the brown zipped up worker's uniform, which actually he takes from a truck driver. But I like that it was brown as opposed to, you know, the blue, the darker kind of blue color that he had in the original. So that was a change I didn't mind too much. Also the fact that he would have pulled a mask that he wore as a child and re-wore that, I think also worked well for this imagining of Halloween. I don't feel like the figure kind of shows it as well. Like, it just ultimately looks very goopy, I think, with the paint that they've put on it. Now, granted, it's an older figure. I'm gonna, you know, I can't, gotta cut them a little bit of slack. That this figure is considerably old. But yeah, I would have gone in, and I haven't done it yet, for fear that I would probably even make this worse. But I would have gone in and probably just done some brush work to the mask, just so it didn't look as yellow. Because there's just this wash on it that I can see what they were going with. I can see that they were trying to give it an aged look to it, but ultimately it just kind of makes it look goopy and almost slimy, if that makes any sense. Like the other Myers figures that NECA have produced, the eyes are visible, which is a nice touch. Normally I'm not crazy when it comes to visible eyes in Michael Myers' mask, although Halloween H2O, I just love the fact you could see his eyes. So that's funny that, you know, I'm so like die hard when it comes to the original Halloween looks, but somehow H2O I can accept. I just love the look of the visible eyes on that Myers. He's got bloodied hands, so he's already dispensed some poor individual. Also got the blood all over his outfit as well. Now, in the way of his posability, he doesn't have much. He does have the ball joint in the head, as we've already had a look at. Sometimes I like to just kind of tip the head when I do have these on display. I usually bring these out at Halloween and I put them on my shelf. I don't keep them out all year round. But I like that you can tip the head. You can also lift and lower. There's lots of clearance in the way of moving his head. There's no obstructions whatsoever. Shoulders hinge out, very similar to the other original Myers that we've had a look at. Rotate all the way around. He has a swivel point in the elbow, which only allows the arm to rotate. It doesn't hinge at all like the newer figures. There's a swivel also in the wrist. When it comes to the feet do move. Not by much, though. That's about all you can really do with them. It's kind of a blessing, too, that Halloween is here. Today is Halloween. Spot thought, you know what? I love Halloween. It's one of my favorite go-to horror movies. Truthfully, I only really watch it at Halloween, but it's always one of my favorite horror movies to watch. But it also was a perfect time to go back and have a look at some of the older figures I had to look at on this channel years and years and years ago. Now that, of course, things have changed, lighting maybe a little bit better, maybe a better camera, it's a good chance to go back to these figures that I loved so much and just kind of give them a new opinion and a new video review for them. Though I'm not crazy on the remake, I'm not super crazy, to be honest, on this particular figure. It's one of those things that the remake will always be in the memories of horror fans out there, as it's kind of like the Nolan Batman universe. It is its own thing. It's not really something that you'll ever pair with the other Batman movies, the other new Batman movies that are coming out. Funny enough, as we look back on this video, maybe years from now, the Michael Myers and the Rob Zombie, more notably, those Halloween movies are their own things, and I'm hoping with the new Halloween we kind of just get back on track to a normal Halloween sequel. But for what it is, it's kind of cool to have a figure from that period of time. It's not the movie I will ever go back and really watch again. I might go back and watch it if I watch all the Halloweens, you know, but I always tend to go back to more of the originals than I do Rob Zombie's Halloweens. But at any rate, not a bad figure. It does scream a little on the dated side, but that's okay. It still sits out with the other Myers, just kind of sits a little further back, that's all. Today's throwback, we were having a look at the Halloween remake, Michael Myers. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more throwbacks heading your way. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.